Now that you've had some time to sit down with your image and reflect on it, it's time to write and record your song. This is probably going to be the most difficult unit for you, and you're welcome to take as long as you need to get it finished. But don't take so long that you don't get your song finished. One of the things I want to talk about in this particular video is the idea of perfection. How perfection can be great if you use it in such a way that is productive. However, in my own experiences, a lot of songwriters struggle with perfection because ultimately what it means is that they don't release music, or they don't finish songs, or they don't share their music. Music is not meant to be a perfect thing. Music is meant to be created and shared, and what you consider to be a flaw could be an interesting texture or something that actually makes your song quite unique and special to listen to. So, having said all of that, let's quickly talk about some of the basic foundations of songs. I'm going to briefly talk about song structure and literalism versus imagery in lyrics that you write. And finally, we're going to talk about those 5 feeling words. So, as you know, every song has some specific parts. Usually, every song has verses in it. So, a verse is going to be the section of the music that has the lyrics that are kind of what I would call expositional, where they tell a story, they describe something or a feeling or something like that. You have your chorus. And most songs have a chorus, and this is what would be the meat of the song. It's what everybody remembers after they've heard a song and they sing it. It usually has the most hooks in it, and your verse is usually going to explain or prepare a listener for your chorus. So those are the two main parts of a song. Then we have the introduction, or what I like to call the outroduction, and those are anywhere from 2 to sometimes 32 bars, although that's somewhat rare. But it's the beginning or ending music of a song that is somewhat separated from the body of the song. And the introduction does what it's named for. It introduces the song, or it creates an atmosphere or feeling that prepares the listener for the verses and the choruses. Finally, we have what is called a bridge. It's not always necessary, and a lot of the time people hear a bridge and they think it's corny, and that's something that you have to think about when you write a bridge, is if it's really necessary for your song, because if it isn't necessary, it's certainly going to sound unnecessary. But, the thing that's nice about being a songwriter is you get to make those decisions, and no one else can really tell you what to do. They can, but it's your song. It's not their song. So, I want you to think about all these different parts of a song. There's different types of song forms, like there's AAA, which is all verses, just one after another. Those would usually be like folk songs, where you hear this pattern of music over and over again, but you're hearing a story, like a beginning, a middle, and an end. Or sometimes there's 4 or 5 verses, like the old drinking songs. There's also your standard pop song is going to be AB, AB, so that would be verse, chorus, but there can be a lot of variation within that, so you could have a verse, chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus, verse type of a thing. There's a term called modified rondo, which kind of goes into those more complicated forms. So just play around, and when you're putting your song together, ask yourself, why do I have all these parts? How do these parts of a song help me get my mood across? Then we have lyrics, which you can have literalism, or you can have imagery, or sometimes you can have a little bit of a marriage of both. For imagery, the best examples that I can think of personally from the artists that I listen to, I feel like Björk is an artist to listen to get a sense of lyrics that have a lot of imagery. She often has a lot of songs that you don't exactly know what she's singing about, but you definitely get a feeling of the mood or the atmosphere of what she's trying to do. I, on the other hand, as a songwriter, tend to write more literalism in my lyrics. And literalism is basically where you're just saying exactly what you feel, exactly what's going on. A great example of literalism would be musical theater. A lot of the songs that you hear in musical theater, it's people that are saying, I'm feeling this way and I'm doing that, and it's very like straightforward, exactly what's going on. There's not a whole lot of room for interpretation for the most part. So I want you to think about, how are you writing your lyrics, and how are these lyrics going to get the mood that you've chosen for your song across very clearly? Finally, let's talk about your feeling words. You chose 5 feeling words in the last unit to describe the image that you've chosen. Now I want you to find one word that can sum up the mood of your song based on these 5 feeling words. Once you've done that, then you can go and write your song and make sure that every decision you make is always going to help get your mood across. If there's anything that you've done in your song that you might think is detracting, to look back and say, well, let's get rid of that. Or what can I do as a performer when I record this song to make sure that my mood is coming across quite clearly? So you might be asking, through all this information, what is such a big deal about having your mood come across clearly? Well, if a listener can't connect with the structure of your song, or if a listener has problems connecting with the lyrics of your song, the one thing they should not have a problem connecting with is the mood. If your mood is clear, your listener is going to feel what your song is about. And really, that's what music is about, is hearing something and feeling something. So that's why it's so important to be really conscious of what your mood is and how you're getting that mood across. And a lot of the times it's all about what your lyrics are, and really more importantly, it's about how you sing them and how you perform your music. Because if you're not feeling that mood while you're playing it, it's going to come across that way and your listener's not going to connect. So those are some things to think about. I want you to take some time to write and record your song, but don't take a whole lot of time. Take just enough time to get it done. You can always go back and fix it later, but for this educational website, I want you to get down the bare bones for other people to listen to and for you to accomplish having written a song. So, without further ado, I hope you enjoy this unit, and if you have any questions, please email me at johnpaulsharp.com.